Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're journeying into some really powerful concepts, stuff that can genuinely change how you see your daily life.
Mm,
We're talking about the power of the now, being fully present, and also, how to actually roll with the punches.
yeah, when life throws stuff at you.
Exactly. So our mission, like always, is to dig into the sources you shared, pull out the key takeaways, give you a shortcut to really getting these ideas.
And it's quite a journey, this one. It's really about mastering your mind, isn't it?
Mm,
Well, fundamental if you want a more impactful life.
yeah.
These sources, they give you a kind of practical guide. They connect the dots between things like focus, flow states,
Yeah.
emotional regulation, and importantly, personal responsibility. How you shape your own reality. It's amazing how linked it all is.
It really is. So, okay, let's start with the now. Let's unpack that.
Right.
Because it's not just some, airy-fairy concept. It's super practical. The sources frame it as pure focus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting rid of thoughts that aren't for right now. Tuning into the, what was the phrase? Full aesthetic features of everything.
That's it. And doing that, it really cuts down the overthinking, doesn't it? Brings clarity.
It does.
It reminds me a bit of that movie Memento, the main character.
Oh, yeah, with the memory loss.
Exactly. He had to live in the moment because he couldn't remember the past few minutes. He was forced into this intense focus on the present. No baggage from past judgments cluttering things up.
But he could still think, right? He left himself notes.
He absolutely could. He
Yeah.
had his analytical mind, a focused attention. But the good news for you listening is that you do have memory. You can learn from the past, plan for the future.
Right.
The trick is learning to choose that present moment focus, like the character was forced into it, but doing it intentionally.
Okay, and this next bit from the sources really hit me. It sounds simple, but wow.
What's that?
It says the now is the only real life you will ever experience.
Yeah, that's profound.
It means like every moment where you can actually do something, change something, feel something raw, it only exists right now, this second.
The past and future are sort of accessories? Is that how they put it?
Yeah, accessories to the now. Even when you feel sad about a memory, you're feeling it now. It's a fresh feeling based on how that memory resonates now.
Right. It's not the past event causing the feeling directly. It's your present reaction to the memory of it.
Exactly. And if you're always dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, you're basically disarming yourself in the only time you actually have power.
Mm-hmm.
The sources warn about this trap, finding the now boring, escaping into your head, and then just not coming back to engage with what's actually happening.
So, okay, if the now is where it's at, how do we actually, get there? How do we cultivate it?
Good question.
Well, the sources suggest building a dynamic plan, something that really demands your full attention.
Dynamic plan, what does that involve?
It involves this natural tuning up of your focus, getting the timing right in what you do, and crucially, it generates dopamine.
Ah, dopamine, the focus chemical.
Right, and just taking that first step, starting the action that articulates the plan, sets it going, and boom, you can hit that flow state.
That feeling where everything just clicks.
Exactly, that dopamine-boosted clarity, you're just in it.
Okay, I get that. But sometimes it is a struggle, right? Trying to focus when your mind's all over the place.
Oh, absolutely.
The sources say that struggle itself, pushing through it with a system or a routine or even just like moving your body, that actually sharpens your focus.
Yeah. The effort pays off.
It's in that focused effort you can really inject your ideas, especially if you've written them down beforehand and plan things out better with more nuance.
So you do the hard thinking work in that focused state.
Yeah, and then later, when it's time to act, you just follow the plan. You can reactivate that flow state more easily because the groundwork's done.
That makes sense. It ties into that idea of cognitive ease you get at home.
How?
Well, at home, everything's familiar, right? You don't have to think much about moving around. It's comfortable, predictable, easy.
Okay.
So the idea is, what if you could bring that same kind of ease, that effortless focus, to the outside world, the dynamic, unpredictable world?
Like being naturally confident and present out there.
Exactly. By living in the now, using your imagination not to drift off, but to actively project and predict your path.
Yeah.
Almost without thinking too hard about it.
Okay, so focusing on the now builds this foundation of presence and ease, but life isn't always easy. What happens when things get tough?
Right. This brings us to the second big concept, rolling with the punches.
Yeah, and the sources are blunt about it. Life will punch you.
They're getting around that.
And it says it seems to know right where to do it, too. Which feels true sometimes, doesn't it?
It really does. But then comes the twist.
The twist is it's only because you know it first. What does that even mean?
It's profound. It's about total ownership. The sources spell it out. The punches are defined by you, understood by you, reacted to by you, experienced by you, defined by you. Full circle.
Wow. Okay, so if it hurts?
It hurts because you defined it that way. You gave it that meaning.
So I have the power to redefine it.
That's exactly it. You can redefine what that punch means to you. And that's not just some mental trick. It actually changes your behavior.
How?
It shifts you from just reacting, like flinching from the punch, to being proactive, to choosing your response.
Oh.
And that's where the sources say the magic starts.
Okay, this is huge. It means it's not really about what happens to me.
It's about what happens inside you. Your reactions, your feelings, they're all generated internally.
The outside world just gives tangible information with potential.
Exactly. But you hold the keys to the lab, so to speak. You decide what chemicals get released, what feelings get felt.
Like anger. If I feel angry, I made the anger.
You generated it.
Yep.
Someone might have done something, tempted you, provoked you, sure. But the actual feeling, the stress hormones, the shutting down of the rational brain,
Yeah.
that cascade is internal. That's you. And the actionable bit here is powerful. When you feel threatened or upset, the sources say, only you can force a thought that would contrast your feeling of well-being being threatened.
So I have to consciously choose a different thought. One that fights back against the feeling of threat.
Yes, to deliberately trigger a different internal chemical reaction. Even if someone physically punches you, the sources are clear. What you think next determines your fate.
Not the punch itself, but my thought about the punch.
Precisely.
So, all right, how do you actually do it? How do you roll with the punches in practice?
The simple answer, though, like you said, definitely not easy.
Yeah.
Stop punching yourself.
Stop punching.
Yeah. These punches we feel, they aren't just the external events. They are interpretations of those events. Interpretations that create a hard contrast to other interpretations that fuel our sense of well-being and happiness.
So I'm creating the conflict inside my head through how I interpret things.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Think about how personal these things feel. The way a friend looks at you, what you assume they're thinking, what feels unfair.
Yeah, that stuff can really sting.
But what someone else does is, well, it's open to interpretation, isn't it? By you and also by them. They have their own reasons, their own perspective.
Which might be totally different from mine.
Exactly. So the advice is focus on your interpretation first. Understand what it means to you. Get clear on that. Then communicate from what the sources call a solid base.
And communication isn't just words.
Not at all. Body language is huge. People pick up on tiny things, subconsciously pupils dilating which way you're facing. Your internal state is basically broadcasting all the time.
Wow. Okay, so it all comes back to my thoughts.
Bingo. The sources are emphatic.
Yeah.
Your thoughts are controlling the whole show.
Everything. Imagination, planning, reacting, feeling good, wanting to escape feeling bad.
All of it. It's all happening in your mind, driven by your thoughts. There's a great analogy in there. Thoughts are like transistors that make up a motherboard.
Okay.
Their firing patterns can create actions that build order or break it. Thinking isn't passive. It's not benign. It's the glue, they say.
The glue. I like that.
Then they build on it. It's the transmission. Experience is the engine, and proper action is the dynamic element, the very fuel.
Okay, transmission, engine, fuel, that paints a picture. What's proper action then?
It's defined as the pattern of action that leads to a proper win-win outcome.
A win-win, okay.
And here's a cool benefit they mention. If you aim for proper action, everything can work in your favor, even if it breaks, goes to shit, isn't a pleasant experience.
How can braking be working in my favor?
Well, think about their example of a second win.
Yeah.
Sometimes the win is just not saying something stupid you'll regret later.
Yeah. Ah, right. Restraint as a win. Choosing not to react negatively, that's a proper action.
Exactly. It avoids making things worse. That's a win-win, even if the initial situation was bad.
So when you program your thinking algorithm for success, as they put it.
You're building it step by step.
Yeah.
Brick by brick, experience by experience.
It's a process.
It is.
Yeah.
And that path, getting to success, finding that internal balance or homeostasis, it's not always meant to be easy. The sources say that's by design.
By design. Why?
Because hard hardens you.
Yeah.
Easy is just easy, especially if you didn't earn it, if someone else built it. But hard. Hard is only hard until you learn.
That's a powerful thought. Hard is only hard until you learn.
Growth comes through meeting the challenge.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the core takeaway for everyone listening?
Well, I think it's that mastering the now and learning to roll with the punches. It's not about dodging difficulties. You can't, really.
Right, it's about changing your internal response, taking charge of your thoughts.
Exactly. And when you control your thoughts, you control your emotional world, regardless of what's happening outside.
You get the keys to the lab back.
You got it. Which leaves us with a question for you to think about.
What's that?
What's one punch, one challenge, maybe something you're facing right now that you're ready to try and redefine using these ideas?
How could you apply proper action to it?
Yeah. How can you aim for a win-win outcome, even if that win is simply avoiding regret or learning something from the hardness, something to chew on?